Hello friends, welcome to Mechanical Classroom. Let's continue our discussion on the subject Engineering Mechanics. In the last class, we were discussing about rotational motion. We have seen some basic formulae regarding rotational motion. We'll be continuing our discussion from where we stopped in the last lecture. Consider an arbitrary body with mass m rotating with an angular acceleration alpha radian per second square, as you can see in this diagram. Consider an elementary mass dm which is at a radius r from center O, rotating with an angular velocity omega radian per second. This elementary mass is subjected to acceleration whose components are at and an. An is the normal acceleration whose value is omega square by r, which is equal to v square by r. This normal acceleration is otherwise known as centripetal acceleration or centrifugal acceleration. Centripetal acceleration acts along towards the center, whereas centrifugal acceleration acts away from the center. Tangential acceleration, whose value is r into alpha. The tangential force acting on the elementary mass, that is force acting along the direction of tangential acceleration, is mass into tangential acceleration, that is dm into r alpha. Now we are taking moment of this tangential force about O, that is tangential force into perpendicular distance r, will be getting dm into r square into alpha. The turning moment or torque of the whole body T equal to integral dm r square alpha, which is equal to I into alpha, where I is the mass moment of inertia. We can see here torque T equal to I into alpha. Torque is analogous to force in rectilinear motion. We have similar relation in rectilinear motion, that is F equal to ma. So just as linear motion is caused by force, rotation motion is caused by torque. Okay. Now kinetic energy due to rotation. We know very basic formula of kinetic energy for an elementary mass. Kinetic energy equal to half into dm into v square. We are substituting for v equal to r omega. We'll be getting this relation. Now by integrating, we'll be getting kinetic energy for the whole body as half into I into omega square. Again, this relation is similar to kinetic energy of rectilinear motion, that is kinetic energy equal to half into mv square. Okay. Now work done in rotation. In rectilinear motion, work done is force into linear displacement. Here work done equal to torque into angular displacement. Once we get work done, power can be determined by dividing it by time, that is t into theta by t, which is equal to t into omega, where omega we can determine by substituting the formula 2 pi n by 60, where n is in rpm. All this formula you should keep in mind in order to solve simple problems. Okay. Work energy equation for rotation. For rotation, work energy principle is stated as work done by a torque acting on a body during angular displacement is equal to change in kinetic energy of the body. The statement is similar as we saw similar statement in the rectilinear motion regarding work energy principle. Consider a body of mass moment of inertia I moving with an angular velocity omega 1. Let theta be the angular displacement of the body and omega 2 be the final angular velocity. Let t be the resultant torque. We have expression of t as I into alpha. Now we can determine alpha from this d omega by dt. We will be getting alpha as omega into d omega by d theta. Substituting in t equal to I alpha for alpha, we will be getting this relation t into d theta equal to I into omega into d omega. Integrating this relation, we will be getting t into theta equal to half into I omega 2 square minus half into I omega 1 square. Okay. So work done equal to, that is work done t into theta equal to change in kinetic energy. This is change in kinetic energy. So this is the proof for work energy principle for rotation. Now let's do some basic problems. A body of mass 6 kg is moving in a circle of radius of 1.5 meter with an angular velocity of 2 radian per second. Find the centrifugal force acting on the body. Given data are mass of body 6 kg, radius 1.5 meter, angular velocity 2 radian per second. What we have to find out is centrifugal force acting on the body. We know centrifugal force equal to mass into acceleration. This is the acceleration part. This is normal acceleration, omega square into r. Substituting the value, we'll be getting centrifugal force as 36 Newton. Next problem. A circular disc weighing 60 kilonewton and having radius of gyration 0.7 meter loses its speed from 400 rpm to 350 rpm in 100 seconds. Calculate the retarding torque acting on it. Second one, change in the kinetic energy during the rotation. So you write down all the given data. What we have to determine is retarding torque and change in kinetic energy. Retarding torque can be determined from the expression for torque, T equal to I into alpha, where I we can determine from the formula mk square. I is mk square and alpha is tangential is angular acceleration. We are substituting those value. Here we can see mass moment of inertia I is mk square. If we are given radius of gyration, we can use this relation, that is I equal to mk square. From the equation of motion for rotational motion, omega equal to omega 0 plus alpha into t, where omega is the final velocity and omega 0 is the initial angular velocity. This relation is similar to v equal to u plus at. We can determine omega 0 equal to 2 pi n 0 by 60, substituting the value 41.89 radian per second. Final angular velocity omega equal to 36.65 radian per second. Substituting these values in this equation of motion, we'll be getting alpha as 0.052 radian per second square. We have retarding torque T equal to I alpha, which is equal to mk square into alpha. Substituting the values, we'll be getting retarding torque as 155.84 Newton meter. Negative sign indicates torque is retarding. Okay. Change in kinetic energy. Simply substitute in this equation. All the values are unknown. We'll be getting change in kinetic energy as 16.7 kilonewton meter. This is the next question. A flywheel of weight 1400 Newton and 800 millimeter diameter is free to rotate about its geometric axis and is constantly accelerated from rest to 250 rpm in 25 seconds. Determine the constant torque required to produce this acceleration. So write down all the given data in SI unit. We have to convert those given in millimeter in meter, and we have to determine mass, okay, from weight by dividing it by 9.81. We have to determine constant torque T. Or using same relation, omega equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. Omega 0 here is 0 since n0 is 0, and the final angular velocity is 26.18 radian per second. Substituting this value in this equation of motion, we will be getting alpha as 1.047 radian per second square. Now moment of inertia of flywheel here is I equal to mr square by 2. This is another relation for mass moment of inertia. That is here we have given the object as a flywheel. Flywheel is nothing but circular disc. Okay, circular disc. So mass moment of inertia for circular disc is half mr square. Substituting the value, will be getting 11.42 kilogram meter square. In this problem, radius of gyration is not given, but radius is given. So we can determine a moment of inertia from this formula. T equal to I into alpha. We will be getting torque as 11.95 Newton meter. Problem. Okay, these are the given data. Radius of drum r equal to 0.4 meter, weight of drum 250 Newton. We are converting mass of into mass of drum as 250 by 9.81, that is 25.48 kilogram. Here mass of a drum and the weight of drum is denoted by capital letters, whereas weight and mass of this weight attached to the code is denoted by small letter w. You have to determine time required for it to, that is time required for the weight to fall through the height 4 meter. Let P be the tension in the string. So T equal to I alpha equal to half into m square into alpha. Again we have expression for T as P into R, that is tension P into radius of the drum. So equating these two expressions for torque, we will be getting relation P equal to 0.5 into capital M into acceleration. Now let's consider the motion of this weight. Okay, all these are the two forces are acting, P and W. This is the direction of motion in downward direction. According to D'Alembert's principle, which you have already studied in the last module, net force in the direction of motion equal to mass into acceleration. So we can form this relation, substituting the values. We will be getting acceleration as 2.8 meter per second square from the equation of motion s equal to ut plus half at square. Substituting the values, time equal to 1.69. So this is the time required for this weight to fall through the height 4 meter, that is 1.69 seconds. Now let's do last problem. We have given a pulley, two ropes are attached and two weights are attached to the either side of the pulley. These are the given data. Now what to find out is acceleration of the masses and tension on either side of the rope. Okay. Now let's consider the rotation of pulley first. This is the pulley. So net torque is equal to I into alpha. Here TA and TB are the tension acting in the rope. On the either side of the pulley, we can write or we can substitute for net torque as TB into R minus TA into R. This TB into R is positive since it forms a clockwise moment with respect to moments in the rope, and TA into R is negative since it forms anti-clockwise moment with respect to moments in the rope, which is equal to I is mk square. K is radius of gyration. We are substituting angular acceleration in terms of linear acceleration as A by R, substituting the value and forming an equation in the form h plus by plus cz equal to 0 in order to solve the problem by using a calculator. Now consider the motion of block A. This is block A, and these are the forces acting on block A. This is the direction of motion applying D'Alembert's principle. Net force in the direction of motion equal to mass into acceleration. Substituting the values, we are forming another equation in the form h plus by plus cz equal to d. Now let's consider motion of block B, that is this block, denoting all the forces acting on block B. Direction of motion is in downward direction according to D'Alembert's principle. This is our relation, and substituting the value and forming another equation of the form h plus by plus cz equal to d. Now we can solve all these three simultaneous equations by using calculator. We'll be getting tension in rope A as 134.38. In rope B, tension is 154.54 Newton, and acceleration of masses is 3.63 meter per second square. Hope you understood all the problems. If you have any doubt, you can ask those doubts in the comment section below the video. Also, I will give a Telegram channel link in the description. You can join that Telegram channel and ask doubt. Thanks for watching, and also subscribe my channel in order to get beneficial videos like this.